South African consumers have begun to see some financial green shoots, with lower inflation seen more materially in lower fuel prices and more recently a first cut in 15-year high interest rates. While some will have taken advantage of the opportunity to tap onto the savings pot of the new two-pot retirement system, albeit at a huge cost from a tax perspective. But some experts who've witnessed the toll that the high inflation and interest rate environment has had on consumers are advising that it's better to use this financial relief to put oneself on a steadier financial footing. Well, to elaborate further, I'm joined by Benay Sager. He's Executive Head of DebtBusters. Thank you very much, Benay, for joining us. Over the past few years, with the elevated interest rate environment, how bad has the debt burden been for consumers? What do your latest reports indicate?
Yeah, we've certainly seen the debt-to-income ratios move in the negative direction for consumers over the last 2 years, I think particularly since the end of 2022. And, this is mainly an impact of two things. One is inflation, which is really driven a lot by electricity price increases as well as petrol increases. And secondly, the interest rate increases that were done over an 18-year period to the tune of, 18-month period to the tune of 475 basis points. Now, fast forward to now, what we've seen is the inflation seems to be coming down year on year. We've certainly seen welcome relief at the pumps in terms of petrol price. And also we had a little bit of an interest rate reduction, which is not massive, but I think every little bit helps.
Yeah.
So I think now is the time that consumers can find a little bit more money in their pockets to use, in the prudent way. So I think we want to make sure consumers understand that dealing with debt is and should be one of the priorities.
Yeah, we'll come to that shortly. So you've noted that particularly higher earners have racked up quite a bit of debt in the last few years, which of course then means a higher burden in terms of their debt servicing costs.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen the debt-to-income ratios rise from something like 130% to 167% over the last few years, which is a huge increase. And this is particularly acute for those taking home 30,000 Rand or more. And I think that's the group that generally has been under severe pressure, particularly since the beginning of the pandemic. And I think, our next, when we release our next quarterly index, which will be in the next few weeks, it will be important to look at, see what Q3 has done. But we certainly already seen some relief in Q2, which we very much welcome on behalf of the consumer.
Yeah. So to the point that you were making earlier, you're now suggesting that instead of people going mad during the Black Friday sales and festive season, they should rather focus on bringing down their debt pile. How should they do that?
Absolutely. My suggestion would be start with either the smallest amount, if you've got that you can pay up to close an account, or the highest interest rate earning account. Those are generally the ones that are going to burn the biggest hole in your pocket. So pick one of the two, and between now and December, pay it off, or pay off as much as you can, and you will be very, very happy with yourself, and also your finances will help you.
So the last thing, of course, is that people tend to forget, or, they don't factor in that come January, they're going to have a myriad of expenses, which is why they need to be careful how they spend whatever extra money they get in the festive season.
Absolutely. We know that January is also the time where the big expenses, but also the big escalations in expenses. Often we see, things like medical aids and schools and many other things escalate in price, in terms of insurance policies. So leave behind a little bit of money to cater for that, because that increase is coming in January. And remember, also in April, there will probably be a significant electricity price increase, which is also just around the corner.
And one last thing very quickly, what should consumers who are just not coping, what do they need to do?
Our suggestion is talk to someone who's qualified, talk to a debt counselor who can give you, or she can give you advice about what to do. Start somewhere small, get a free assessment made so that you can understand your financial situation and the options available to you.
Super. Thank you so much for that. Benay Sager, he's Executive Head of DebtBusters.